Hi there, welcome to Nepi Invest and welcome to the final day of the trading week. It is October 18, 2024. Not only is it the final day of the trading week, we're in the closing auction right now. ASX in match, we have about 1 minute left. So I'm a little bit late in recording this video because I actually am working today, doing an overtime shift, and I am on my lunch break right now. And I prefer to take my lunch break at around about 3 p.m. local time. I am looking at the indices. It's been a pretty bad day. I didn't expect this much of a bad day. I did expect the market to be down a little bit just because of the futures. I don't think the Americans or the Wall Street was down all that much. No, in fact, Wall Street was up. So I'm not sure what has driven our market down today, although I do know that I believe Flight Centre released a trading update and it was quite negative, and that has led to some of those companies going down. Maybe iron ore's had a bad day today. Maybe the financials have a bad day. But I'll look all into that when we go through the ASX today. And we'll also have a look at Trading Economics and Capital Brief websites just to see if there is anything I've missed, and more than likely there is. And then I do have a top 5 stocks of the day. And I'll also discuss a company called Mithril, because there was a request about this from Nerdburger. Burgers are my equal favorite type of food. Burgers, yes. Talking about Mithril, and I did notice they released an announcement today. So definitely will want to mention that company. And also, another company releasing a Pennies 4C today that I quite liked. And I've barely looked at this company before. So more than likely, I'll do a standalone video on BSA. I think that's a ticker code, and that's also the company BSA. They actually did release a pretty good Appendix 4C. I had a quick look at it and went, ooh, if they can replicate this sort of quarter over the next year, this company's looking pretty cheap. Okay, so, and if I have any time left, I want to keep this video to about 40 minutes, maybe 30 to 40 minutes. And if I have any time, I'll answer some of your comments. Okay, so let's get into the ASX today. But actually, before we do that, again, I almost forgot, Trading Economics. Sometimes I have to refresh this because it goes back to the previous day for some reason. China third quarter GDP growth slightly above estimates. I suppose that's pretty good news. So that should be beneficial for iron ore, you would think. Japan inflation rate hits 5-month low. China retail sales growth climbs to 4-month high. So things are looking up in China. Maybe that's because of the stimulus. Oil set for sharp weekly fall. US retail sales rise more than expected. That's good news as well. And China industrial output rises the most for 4 months. I'm just seeing lots of positives there. And I'm looking at the commodities on the right-hand side. I'm just seeing a wave of green apart from steel, down 4.32%. Iron ore is also down. So I'm expecting BHP, Fortescue, and Rio Tinto to be down a fair bit today, particularly Fortescue. But everything else is green. Copper up 1.14%. The only copper company I own is Hillgrove Resources. They actually did release a positive announcement today, but I decided I'm not going to feature that company just because I'm being a little bit biased. However, how much is that company up? Let's have a look. Yeah, 6.45%. I like that. And now let's have a look at Capital Brief. What have I missed today that has happened in the news? There we go. Iron ore stocks fall as new China housing support disappoints. Now, Trading Economics, a lot of positive reports coming out of China, but here's a negative one. So China housing support disappoints. Perpetual shares falls. This is a sort of a repeat from the other day, October 17, which is yesterday. Perpetual shares fall as shareholders grill board on poor share price. Do I have to refresh this too? I'm pretty sure that was yeah, I do. Okay, there you go. I'm pretty sure that was yesterday's report. Okay. Talking about Canva, talking about, here we go. Flight Centre, Corporate Travel, Web Travel Group dive on ASX. And I think that's mainly because the Flight Centre share price of that company was down about 20% last time I looked. They did release a trading update at their AGM, and obviously that has disappointed the market. Telix shares rise after US listing Q3 revenue boosts. I did have that as a possibility, but again, I do own shares in this company, and I talk about Telix quite often, so I thought I'll feature another company that I don't own. In fact, most of the companies in the top 5 stocks I don't own. And there we go. China's third quarter GDP grows 4.6%, slightly beating expectations. Yancoal shares rise on increased production volumes. I did not write that company down. AMP shares slide as Citi downgrades stock to neutral. Again, I don't understand why people make decisions because Citi or Bell Potter downgrades or upgrades a company. I just don't understand why people are putting their decision making into other people's hands. I just don't understand that. Anyway, Harvey Norman Latitude Financial lose court case against ASIC or ASIC on misleading ads. How did the share price of these companies do today? The market doesn't care, looks like. And APA Group shares dive after UniSuper block trade. And I have included APA Group in my top 5 stocks of the day. Beach Energy shares lift on positive first quarter update. That's another one I actually did write it down, but up 2 point. I'm looking for something a little bit more than 2.46% rise, although oil's down and Beach Energy is up. So that's actually quite positive when oil is down and the share price in your company has risen. So maybe I'm being a little bit unfair by dismissing their third quarter, first quarter update. EVT shares drop after first quarter profit slump. A company I'm not interested in at all. Chart looks horrendous. I don't like the business model. Down 2.25%. I don't really care. And there we go. Flight Centre shares plunge after week trading update. Okay, so I'll talk about that company towards the end of the video. Okay, so let's get to the ASX today. And yeah, pretty negative day. Let's see what happened on the closing auction. Not much movement there. Bad day for resources, small caps. Not a worst day for not the worst of days for all tech, comparatively speaking, but still down 0.58%. So is any sector up? Let's have a look. And the answer to that is no. However, financials relatively flat, healthcare relatively flat, and utilities down 3.48%. What's happened with utilities? 5 or 6 other sectors down by more than 1%. Industrials, energy, IT, materials, discretionary real estate. But what has happened to utilities today? So what's that? APA Group. We know that's in utilities. What else could have caused this massive drop? Let's have a look at percentage change. There's APA Group down 5.83%. AGL Energy down a little bit as well. And if we have a look by market cap, I think, yeah. So one of the reasons why it's down a fair bit is because of APA Group and really hasn't been held by Origin Energy, AGL either. But definitely APA Group and UniSuper's big dump of shares has not helped with that company. Now let's move on to, actually, we'll do ASX 20. Sometimes I completely forget. Oh, I completely closed out of market index. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, let's go to the ASX 20, down 0.68%. Not bad. Gold's had a good day. Banks looks like they're up. So one of the reasons why ASX 20 has not had the worst today, maybe because of the banks. I'm not sure why there is strength in banks. That is something that is going to confuse me moving forward if banks don't drop, the share price don't drop 20 or 30%, unless they can significantly grow their profits, which I don't think they can do. They're very mature companies, and typically very extremely mature companies don't usually grow their profits all too much. Okay, so let's have a look at the ASX 20. I'm assuming right now 4 companies up, 16 down. Oh, close. 5 up, 15 down, and 5 companies up. QBE, REA Group, Woolworths, CBA, and NAB. CBA, $142. Let's have a look at the chart. Well, there's a dip, and now it's getting back up to where it was, $145. I have no interest. I don't care about the chart for CBA. In this case, value does matter for me when it comes to these companies. Why do I keep going to the wrong one? I have to move that tab. The worst performing companies today, WiseTech, BHP, not a surprise. I'm surprised that BHP has fallen more than Fortescue, and then Goodman Group. Not surprised there because I did see real estate had a bad day as well. Okay, so no big surprises, to be honest with you, based off the negative day we have seen. Now, let's get to the best and worst performing companies on the ASX today. First of all, we'll have a look. Why is ignore? First of all, we have a look at the top gainers. Avanti. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Avanti yesterday. Why is there still a lot of excitement about this company? It could be just trading, all day traders getting really excited. Didn't they hire like Zips US CFO? And the chart is just going bonkers right now. I just want to decrease the size of the video. Massive volume coming in. I have no interest in this. I'm assuming this is a bit of a plaything for day traders right now. Let's move on to InhalerX. IRX, a fairly small markup, 5.8 million, up 36.4%. This company did release something because I just remember the T code IRX. I can't remember what they released though. So let's have a look at the announcements, see if it's anything interesting. $38.5 million funding to fully fund clinical development plans. Okay, I can see some positives in that. They've got the funding now, probably what they needed, and there's no concerns about any significant capital raising in the future, I assume. And particularly for a company that has a market cap of 5.8 million, to get this sort of funding is intriguing. IRX, what's the chart look like for this company? And there's been a lot of selling today. Share price as high as 5 cents. Now it's at 3 cents. Share price has almost halved today from the highs. This is, very negative, extremely negative one-day candlestick. And the whole reason why it's negative is because there's just been an overwhelming supply of shares on the market. The enthusiasm of the sellers has overwhelmed the buyers, and that's why the share price has dropped. And the whole reason is because the share price is in a downtrend. Downtrends and this negative sentiment attached to downtrends are really powerful, really powerful. The holders, shareholders of these sort of companies just want to get out. They don't care if the share price rises. They don't care if the company releases a really good announcement. They just want to get out of this dog stock. And maybe InhalerX is a dog stock. I don't know. I've never had a look at this company before. Little Green Pharma, up 34.78%. I did release a standalone video on Little Green Pharma. A little bit surprised the share price has gone up again, 34.78%. LGP, and 2 good days in a row. Now, yesterday did look interesting, but probably not a trigger for me to take a position. Today is even more intriguing, increasing volume, so even higher volume than yesterday. So in a way, maybe what's been happening today is the Appendix 4C has filtered through more of the market, and maybe even some institutions or had a look at the Appendix 4C. They went, not a bad quarter for this company. So there is a little bit more interest in this company. I'm going to be very intrigued to see how the share price moves over the next few days. Little Green Pharma, another good day for that company. Australian Mines, AUZ, up 25%. AUZ. Quick look at this one. Nothing, so we can move on. I'm just looking for announcements. I don't care the share price has moved. Thought maybe that company had released something up because the turnover was quite high. And nothing. There's Andean Silver. I know there is a viewer of this channel who loves that company. And Antio Tech, up 15.39%. I have put that company into my top 5, and it's an interesting story. And I thought, why not talk about Antio Tech, a company I followed for about 13 years. Now, let's have a look at the top gainers by market cap, see if there's any interesting companies here. Ora Banda, another really good day. Wagner's has bounced really well over the last few days, up another 10%. Let's have a look at Wagner's chart. This one has just taken off. It's broken out, it's taken off. Not sure I like this sort of run-up. It's really gone bananas over the last about 5 or 6 trading days, and that's unsustainable. I prefer a nice steady rise. That's my preferred chart, nice steady rise. And Mithral's not here. I thought Mithril was going to be here. What happened with Mithril? I was certain Mithril was going to be in this list. It's up 11.24%. We haven't seen a little bit of selling. I'll talk about Mithril towards the end of the video if I remember, or if I don't remember when I get to the comments section. They actually thought their announcement was pretty good. Okay. Anyway, And there's BSA up 12.37% on the back of their Appendix 4C. I'm looking forward to do their standalone videos. I actually do like the two. I did two standalone videos last night, released one this morning. We'll release another one tomorrow morning. And I really like doing those videos because I kept those videos to 10 minutes and it was very quick. Didn't have to spend much time. I know exactly what I want to look for when I do those sort of videos. And I think I might be able to do more of those than I even planned to do this time yesterday. Okay, let's have a look at the worst performing companies today, the top losers. A company called Move Logistics is down 36.36% on pretty low turnover. Don't care. I'm pretty sure Perchurion Therapeutics did a capital raising. Just going to confirm that. This would make sense. I'm pretty sure it was a capital raising. Yes. $13 million institutional placement. I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of this company before. Not even sure what they do. Market cap of the company is quite high at 80.24 million. So it is. And the share price has increased 46% in the last year. But I have no idea what they do. There's over 2,000 companies on the ASX. And you're not going to know all of them. Even, actually, this chart doesn't look bad. Well, it didn't look bad until today. And their share price has dropped all the way down to 8.5 or 8.9 cents. Pretty big volume as well today. Chart was looking good. And I think the reason they did a capital raising, in fact, I would say they timed this to perfection. Maybe it's just the discount was a little bit too high. Typically, what I'd like to see is when a share price runs like this and then they do a capital raising, do a smaller discount. You probably don't need to incentivize people to buy some shares in this company. But when you do a really big discount, it does leave a bit of a bad taste in shareholders' mouths. Anyway, that's Percheron. No idea what they do. And there's Flight Centre. Oh, I sort of hoped it was going to be down 20%. And Bioxyd released a good Appendix 4C yesterday. And unlike Little Green Pharma, it has pulled back a little bit, but very low turnover. In fact, I did like Bioxyd, particularly if they can replicate their quarter moving forward. That company does look interesting. But the share price needs to stay above 1 cent for me. And that's about it. Now let's have a look by market cap just to see if there's any big companies that are down. APA Group down because of the what will they call it? Trade block, something like that, with UniSuper. AMP down. Again, that's because of the downgrade to neutral. Lovisa down. Oh, I'm not sure why. I don't think they released anything today. Just noise, maybe. No, could be just noise. Changes substantial holding 2 days ago. Alcoa, pretty good day yesterday. Corporate Travel Management, down 9%. That's probably because of Flight Centre. Satire, down 5.5%, just noise. And Star Entertainment Group had a nice rise yesterday. Now it's 4. So you're going to see a lot of companies that do perform really good one day. Probably the next day, you do tend to see a little bit of weakness. When you don't see that weakness, that does show there's a bit of strength. And that's about it. Step One Clothing down to $1.60. And Demeric's down 8%. Interesting companies within this list. SmartPay down again. How's that going after that really bad day? Was it during the week? Yeah. Oh, this chart looks. I would say this company is becoming quite oversold at 64 cents. How's Tyro Payments doing? It must be doing just as bad. Yeah. Oh, Tyro Payments is right on a support level. Oh, those companies look interesting right now. Okay, so that's it for the ASX today. Now we can go to the top 5 stocks of the day. I will do a standalone video on BSA, and I have a look at Mithril when we get to the comment sections. So hopefully I can go through the top 5 stocks fairly quickly. Some of the companies that did not make it: Telix Pharmaceuticals, Atlas Arteria, Australian Ethical Funds released their assets under management or something. Hillgrove Resources, a company called, no, I'll be featuring that company. Australian Finance Group, IPM Global, and EVT all had their AGMs, and that's about it. So, oh, by the way, I bought some Karoon shares today. I put in a bid about 3 weeks ago, and I forgot about it. And then I bought some shares. I got a notification I bought some shares. I'm not sure if I like that. I forgot about that buy. I was hoping there was going to be a bounce, and there was a bounce, and I forgot I had that bid in. But I I'm just hoping now there's going to be a rise in oil. Okay, so let's get to the top 5 stocks of the day. Coming in number 5, we have a surprising bidding war for a company called Vonex, VN8. Vonex Limited. There is a bit of a bidding war for this company between a company that is listed on the ASX and actually do own, Swoop, and another company called Maxotel. There is a bidding war. I can't believe that. There is a bidding war for Vonex. Vonex has a market cap of maybe 15 million. Let's have a look. Yeah, $15 million. There's a bidding war for this company. Now, saying that, this company, I'm pretty sure, was cash flow positive a few years ago. So there is potential. There is potential there. And I would say also the 2 companies that are putting their bidding war or have a bidding war for this company, no, there might be some value, and it's been opportunistic because the share price of Vonex has fallen a fair bit over the past few years. And because of that, I can't blame these 2 companies. You can tell there's been a bidding war because you can see the share price rising on the 25th of June, and the share price just went sideways. That's a really telltale sign. That sort of chart, that sort of share price action, a very telltale sign that there is a takeover bid for the company. And because it rose on the 6th of September, I'm assuming that was an increase to the bid of this company. But if we go back in time, the share price of Vonex had reached a high of about $32 back in 2021. Now it's down to 4.3. So I do think this is an opportunity to buy because I would imagine they believe that because this company was almost profitable, maybe profitable, and definitely cash flow positive, that they can turn this company to be that sort of beast again. Maybe beast is a wrong word. Anyway, what am I getting on about? So yesterday at about 6:20 p.m., there was an intention to make an on-market takeover bid. So this one did catch my eye because it featured Swoop, which I do own. So on-market takeover bid for Maxotel for Vonex. Now, both of these companies, Maxotel and Swoop, own quite a few shares in Vonex already. I'm pretty sure Swoop own more shares than Maxotel. In fact, so this offer was for 4.2 cents per share. Now, there is something interesting here. I wonder if it's in this one. It could be in. It could be in Swoop's announcement because I'm pretty sure Swoop also received an announcement here. I think it's this one here. It released at 6:58 p.m. I'm pretty sure I saw. No, it wasn't that one. Yeah, here we go. So Swoop announced on 4th of October that it's voted its Vonex shares because they have 19.9% of Vonex against the scheme, so against the other takeover bid, and Maxotel, who hold 18.44% of Vonex, they released a substantial holder notice on the 4th of October. So this was a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure that Swoop mentioned they will vote against this particular scheme, this particular takeover bid from Maxotel. Try to remember what I actually read yesterday that was really interesting. Due to the voting power in Vonex held by Swoop and the fact that Maxotel, together with its associates, are not permitted to vote on the scheme unless Swoop withdraws its vote or revises its vote in favor of the scheme, or Swoop's or Maxotel's shareholdings change, the scheme is unlikely to be approved at the upcoming meeting on 23rd of October 2024. So I found that really intriguing. And then lo and behold, this morning, Swoop announces off-market takeover offer for Vonex. So remember, Maxotel had 4.2 cents per share. And Swoop's come in and said, nah, we're going to beat that. We are better than you, Maxotel. We've raised it to 5 cents per share. So one fully paid Swoop ordinary share for every 4.2 Vonex shares. The implied offer price is 5 cents per Vonex share. And the interesting thing is, the implied offer represents a premium of 19% to the current Maxotel on-market cash offer, a premium of 178% before this bidding war started. So anyone who bought Vonex shares back say in May at say 1 cent, they're very happy right now. Very oh yeah, that would have had to buy in a short period of time, but they're very happy right now. So I'm assuming that Vonix is saying, "Ooh, they did release something at 11:59 a.m. Let's see what they say." Uh, So Vonix directors currently recommend that Vonix shareholders take no action in relation to Swoop's announcement pending a formal response and recommendation from Vonix directors. Okay, so we should see that sort of formal response in the next few weeks, I would assume. And that's one of the reasons why the share price is at 4.3. You would think it would be a little bit higher with this upgraded offer from Swoop, but it's not quite now. So that's saying, the market's saying, we're not sure about this Swoop takeover, whether Vonix directors would like it. I don't know why they wouldn't. Okay, so that's Vonix and Swoop coming in at number 5. Coming in number 4 is a company I'm pretty sure I've talked about before, Nanoveu. Share price up 13.16%. It was up a little bit more than this. In fact, it was probably up about 25%. I did like the title of this announcement. I thought it was interesting. EMAS testing system on a chip, semiconductor technology. So the reason I like that, system on a chip, semiconductor technology. Now, just because they're in this space doesn't mean they're going to be successful. And I didn't even open up this announcement. I just like the title. And probably, I'd say more than likely, this is not really the sort of announcement that, again, would trigger me to even think about buying some shares in a company. I'm looking for a little bit more substance than this at this point in time. Still a bit of a story stock, I think. I could be wrong. I'm going to see if they are actually, if they do say semiconductor system on chip. Not even sure what that is. Should have a look at that presentation. Let's have a look at the most recent Appendix 4C. Do they have any cash receipts? They have a little bit, $109,000. So still very much a story stock. But I did like just the announcement. I do like that space. So let's have a look at the chart for Nanoveu. Now, one of the reasons I included this company into the top 5 because the share price was up about 25%. I thought, ooh, that's interesting. But the share price has dropped a little bit. And the chart doesn't look that bad now. So I probably featured this company a few days ago on the 15th of October. I completely forgot. So they did Nanoveu. Acquiring leading SoCs, system on a chip semiconductor company. So they acquired this company, EMAS or whatever it's called. So that was 3 days ago. And now they released another announcement in regards to this. So in this regards, I don't know this company at all. I haven't looked at this presentation or this technology. Again, still a story stock, but I do like the chart. Share price did pull back. Now it's up again. I would say this is the potential of a breakout. I would have been a little bit nervous because the last 2 days the share price was down, but we did see a little bit of buying coming in towards the end of the days, and we know that because of the shadow behind or below the main body, and also fairly low volume. So sellers were becoming a little bit sparse by the end of yesterday. So I'd say maybe between 3.4 and 3.8 cents was a pretty good price to buy some shares for this company. So that's Nanoveu. Just think Mork and Mindy when I think of Nanoveu. Coming in number 4, APA Group. This one's going to be fairly quickly. Down at 6.3%. I did notice really big volume. I went, ooh, that's pretty big volume. And I was like, ooh, what's happening here? So I looked at course of sales, and you can see just at 412.04, there was, is that 1 billion? No, it's 1 million shares. 1 million value of shares sold. Now, if we go back to the start of trading, so some people buying and selling it at 7:05 a.m. Then someone at 7:06 a.m. bought some shares at $9.01, and then at 8:45 a.m. someone sold 60, or we know who, UniSuper, sold 69 million shares, valued at almost $500 million at a share price of $7.23. So automatically the market's going, well, if they're selling at 7.23, that's what this company is worth. I wonder what EP is, condition. I've never seen EP before. That's interesting. I'm wondering if this is the sign to take a position in APA Group. I'm wondering if this is capitulation from UniSuper. I would not be surprised if this is the floor in the share price, and then in a year's time, the share price is significantly higher. I would not be surprised by that. Now, in saying that, APA's chart still looks pretty negative. And the share price today did fall below, well, it sort of fell below. So I do have this little support level at about $7. Funny enough, my line is $7.17. Share price of APA Group is $7.16. So we did see a bit of buying when the share price got to about $7.10. Massive volume coming in today because of UniSuper selling their shares. That's why we have really big volume. And again, I've always mentioned that institutions buying and selling is actually quite important because largely they're the ones who are driving the share price higher or lower for these type of companies. So you want to see institutions buying, and if you do see institutions buying en masse, that will see the share price go up. But if they're selling, that could be a bad sign. So maybe this is the first bad sign for APA Group. Now, I did notice that APA Group was featured on Ausbiz The Call, one of the episodes a few weeks ago, and there was two sells. And one of the reasons they mentioned was the debt. I have not had a close look at this company, but a company like this, an infrastructure company, should have debt. That's the nature of infrastructure companies, having debt. So maybe they're being a little bit, I wouldn't say ignorant, but maybe they don't understand this sort of company. I don't know. Anyway, the main thing is the chart looks fairly weak. There might be a bit of support at $7.17. If you have a look at the weekly chart, that support goes all the way back to 2016. Yes, 2016, that's when that support level came into being. There was a bad period for this company back then, and not the best looking chart. Chart looks really good from 2010 through to 2020, nice 10-year period, but a lot of infrastructure companies had a really good decade in the 2010s, but even the weekly chart looks pretty bad for APA Group. So that's coming in number 3. Coming in number 2, we have AnteoTech. Share price up, it's 11.5%. It was up about 30% early in the day. So again, a little bit of selling has come in. This company announced, this is really interesting. So on the 15th, first commercial ultra node order, which did cause a little bit of interest in the market. Share price increased 30%. Not the sort of announcement that, again, would trigger me to take a position, but it's interesting. Then yesterday, they went into trading halt before the session started. And the trading halt, I thought it was going to be a capital raising. I thought the company was getting, and the management were getting a little bit too excited about the share price rise, but it wasn't. This particular trading halt was because was concerning the counterparty in its announcement on the 15th of October for the first commercial order for Ultra Node battery and node. So I didn't really read that announcement. They didn't mention any company. Sometimes in the past, when a company releases an announcement and they do mention the counterparty gets upset, and then they pull the contract. I've seen that happen once before. I forget what company it was. It was many, many years ago. This company got really excited about this contract or whatever, and they announced the company, the counterparty, and then they went into trading halt, and the counterparty said, we did not want our name mentioned, and we pulled it. Now, today, so I'm pretty sure they did not mention the customer's name in the original announcement, but they did receive a query from the ASX. Now, this query apparently mentions that they're supposed to name the counterparty, which I didn't realize they had to do that. So, where is it? So on the 15th of October, the company made an ASX announcement, blah, 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 which I talked about previously. The announcement referred to the company's first commercial order of Ultranode from leading European EV manufacturer EV1. So maybe some people would think that's the name of the company. It's not. The ASX has advised a company that under listing rule 3.1, the counterparty referred to as EV1 must be identified. Maybe they've changed the rules, because I'm pretty sure about 10 years ago, a certain company did not release the name of the company, and then they lost the contract, and then they became bankrupt eventually. The company advises that the counterparty is named such and such. And I actually they named the party. So the counterparty referred to as EV1 in the announcement is made Mercedes-Benz AG of Wöblingen, Germany, part of Mercedes-Benz Group AG. It has previously taken all efforts to protect the confidentiality of Mercedes-Benz as EV1 due to the stage of commercial relationship and the confidential nature of the work being undertaken. Mercedes-Benz. Now, just because that's a very impressive name doesn't mean AnteoTech is going to develop unless Mercedes-Benz gains a lot from this relationship. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. But I've seen a lot of times in the past that when this sort of partnership is developed, usually the Australian company, the small company, doesn't get much out of it. But sometimes they do. And when they do, they can benefit a lot. So this could be beneficial for AnteoTech. So let's have a little chart for this company, a company I've followed for many, many years. AnteoTech. Oh, that's the weekly chart. Yeah, this company, for some reason, back in 2021, was beloved by the market. Share price reached a high of 50 cents. I'm pretty sure the market was like 500 million. Just shows you back then, there was a bit of a bubble in these sort of companies. Anyway, share price has been a long-term downtrend since then. We have seen the share price rally on occasion, then pull back again because negative sentiment. And then today, or the other day, share price rose 30%. Today, the share price, even though it has risen 11%, we have seen some selling. And this one-day candlestick is, even though share price has risen 11% today, it's actually a negative one-day candlestick. So, don't know. This one, maybe leave on my radar, but I'm not that keen to take position in AnteoTech right now. But interesting relationship developing with Mercedes-Benz. Okay, so coming into top stock of the day, or the stock of the day. No surprise, it's Flight Centre. Share price is down 20.44%. I was hoping it was going to be down by more than 20%, and we have it down 20.44%. And we've seen flow-on effects with corporate travel management down 9.5%. Web Travel Group down 4.11%. Is there any other travel companies? Hello World maybe down. Oh no, it hasn't affected Hello World at all. There you go. Maybe it's completely different. So Flight Centre did have the AGM. Oh, maybe they didn't. I was assuming they had the AGM. 14th of November. That's not today, is it? I am wrong. They did not have the AGM. They had a conference. And included within this conference, a Morgan's conference presentation, they had a trading update. That's all I saw, trading update, and I opened up the announcement. I just assumed it was AGM. I had a quick look at this trading update, and I found it wishy-washy. Found it, there was nothing, it was all over the place. Was it positive? Was it negative? What are they trying to say here? That's what the main thing I got from the trading update. I don't care about the rest of the announcement. All I care about is a trading update. For those who have never heard me say, trading updates are the most powerful type of announcement, particularly if it's a profit upgrade or profit downgrade. Those sort of updates or announcements can drive the share price up 30% or down 30%, or even more than that. I've seen share prices fall 50% just on a profit downgrade. Okay, so let's have a look at this trading updates. Towards the end, there it is. Always towards the end, even though it's the most important part of the announcement. Market guidance to be provided at AGM, November 14, with profit again expected to be heavily second half weighted. I actually don't like that. Trading marginally above financial year 24 first quarter across most metrics. That does sound a little bit positive, doesn't it? But currently too early to draw conclusions as to likely trading patterns over full year. So they keep on going, starting to enter a seasonally busier trading period, which makes sense. What else is there? Currently expecting normal industry growth over full year with circa 4 to 5% growth in Australian outbound travel. So I went through this earlier fairly quickly, mind you, and the feeling I got was, don't know, it was just too wishy-washy. There was some, for instance, they mentioned here, positive early signs for October. But otherwise, I thought a little bit negative, but also a little bit positive. And this is the case where I just wanted to wait for the market. And the market spoke to me with a force. Share price down at 20.44%. Also went to Capital Brief just to see what they said. So Flight Centre shares plunge after weak trading update. And this will actually give me some good indication of what the market is thinking. So the context. So yeah, actually there should be a Now, I like when we have an analysis saying something, and we have an analysis saying something here. So, RBC Capital said the company appeared to have delivered on an financial year 25 downgrade in line with weaker outlook from peers. Incomplete details have been provided, but our interpretation of Flight Centre's trading update appears to suggest a large downgrade to consensus and likely financial year 25 expectations. So even though I was uncertain about what this meant, I'm really thankful for this sort of insight to what the analysts are thinking. So this was a downgrade based off what Wei Weng Chen has said from RBC Capital Markets, and hence the share price down 20.4%. So you don't have to know everything. You can be completely ignorant. And sometimes when I'm completely ignorant, I just want to see how the market thinks about it, because the market overall is smarter than I am. As a whole, much smarter than I am. And saying that, this is one of the most negative candlesticks you can see. Solid red, share price opened near the high today and closed near the low. This means there could be more fall in the share price in later days. If we have a look at the 1 minute chart, yeah, it just kept on falling all through the day. There was a little bit of rally in the last hour or so, but it just fell all through the day. And those who sold on open are probably giving them high fives. Doesn't always work. Sometimes people sell on open and then you see the share price rally. You see that quite often. So, yeah, it could go either way. And sometimes this is why I like to wait just one day, just see how the market is reacting. And let's have a look at the weekly chart for Flight Centre. Why is the whoops? Why is the volume like that? There must be a reason. And the reason I'll get into is when I have free time. This is by far the worst week this company has seen since the COVID-19 financial panic. Share price, we're just going to see if the share price is at a support level. No, not really yet. Share price, about $14 is a really nice support level for Flight Centre. $14. There we go, $14. Put it right there. And also, let's have a look at Corporate Travel Management. They had a pretty bad day as well. And the share price has pulled back to the lows this company saw not that long ago. So, in fact, it's at a support level at this price. So maybe the market has overreacted when it comes to corporate travel management. Okay, so one comment. This video has gone a little bit longer than I expected, but I did promise Mithril, silver, and gold. Nerberger says, can you also comment on Mithril, silver, and gold? They had a dip after big rocket from previous drilling results, and a dip always, or maybe not always, but a lot of times it happens when the share price of a company rallies quite quickly and hard. Then flattened and slowly rising today, up 15% after releasing assay. I'm not going to have a look at the assay right now, but it did look pretty good. I had a very quick look at it, and it sounded pretty positive to me. So let's have a look at the chart for Mithril, silver, and gold. Yeah, so there's a massive rally. So share price went from about 12 cents, maybe even below that, all the way up to 80 cents in a fairly short period of time. So when you see the share price take off like that, eventually you're going to see profit taking. And then the share price pulled back, and it pulled back all the way to the short-term moving average channel. And then it found a bit of support at around 44 cents. In fact, if I was following this company a little bit more closely and I was keen on the company, definitely around about 42 to 44 cents was a good price to buy. And we saw a bit of action coming in today. Share price up 11.24%. So what we need to see for Mithril is you don't want to see the share price fall any lower than that about 42 cents. If it does that, that would be a bad sign moving forward, because I have no idea which way the share price is going to go from here. I could imagine it and definitely see a possibility where the share price goes back up to 80 cents or even goes beyond 80 cents. And I can definitely see a possibility where the share price keeps on dropping. But I don't know right now at this point in time. Anyway, and that is all I have for this particular video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who's qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.